Warum missglückt meinem Sohn alles, was er in die Hand nimmt? Fragte ein besorgter Vater in einem Gespräch über seinen 30-jährigen Sohn. Es war tatsächlich schwierig, das Scheitern dieses jungen Mannes zu erklären, der praktisch alles hatte, was es zum Lebenserfolg benötigt. Eine gute Familie, eine sorgfältige Erziehung und Ausbildung und große geschäftliche Möglichkeiten. Trotzdem schien er nur in einem Erfolg zu haben, im Misserfolg. Alles, was er begann, nahm einen schlechten Verlauf. Trotz seiner ernsthaften Bemühungen erntete er immer und immer wieder Misserfolg. Schließlich fand er die Antwort und damit eine einfache, aber höchst wirkungsvolle Lösung des Problems. Seitdem er seine Erkenntnisse realisiert, hat ihn seine Pechsträhne verlassen. Anstatt den Misserfolg zieht er den Erfolg an. Seine Persönlichkeit entfaltet sich und sein Einfluss beginnt zu wachsen. Kürzlich, als ich ihn bei einer Zusammenkunft traf, konnte ich ihm ein aufrichtiges Kompliment nicht versagen. Ich muss Sie bewundern, sagte ich. Noch vor einigen Jahren ist Ihnen alles misslungen und heute scheint Ihnen alles zu glücken, was Sie in die Hände nehmen. Ihr Geschäft blüht und Sie nehmen im politischen wie im gesellschaftlichen Leben eine hervorragende Stellung ein. Wie erklären Sie sich diesen Umschwung? Höchst einfach, sagt er bescheiden. Ich habe die Kraft des Glaubens und des positiven Denkens erfahren. Ich fand heraus, dass man immer erntet, was man erwartet. Erwarte Misserfolg und du wirst Misserfolg haben. Thomas, when you worked on aircraft, you still remember that days? When you were crawling around in planes on your knees with your torch and probably your mirror trying to find something? What was it that you were looking for? When you think about that pain, what was it that you were actually looking for except of pain relief? What means getting the work done? Why are you inspecting something on the plane? What are you trying to find? Something's broken. You're looking for the defects. Right. Vanessa, when you are doing an audit, what are you looking for?
Non-compliances.
Non-compliances. Right. That is what we generally do here. We look for what is wrong with things, especially the engineers, the auditors. They always try to find what's wrong. You never look for what's actually right, because it's important for us that we look out for what's wrong. Because if we don't find it, people die. It's a serious thing. The problem with it, that if we are 8 hours in that mindset to look for just what's wrong, we probably miss that there are other 16 hours a day where we could look for what's right. So we get the mindset of basically being a bit negative. It's just what we do all day. So even when you go out, you still continue like that. And that that's totally normal and evolutionary, also perfectly fine. It was always more important to look out for the saber-toothed tiger than to smell on the daisy. We always had to look out until just a few hundred years ago to look out for what's trying to kill us or harm us than to enjoy the sunset. That was not important for us. There's actually a ratio they found out. So we humans tend to put 7 times more weight on negative experiences than on positive. So that means if we have 1 negative experiences, we need 7 times the amount of equally good experiences to just equalize it. That means it's basically, it says you always think about the negative things, except you are consciously deciding against it. There was a TV show called 2020, where they interviewed twin brothers. And one of those couples was the executive of a Fortune 500 company, millionaire, had everything he wanted. And the other brother was in jail. So both shared the same life story, basically. So both had the same experiences. And the interesting thing was when they were asked why they are how they are, they both had literally the same answer. Both said, I grew up in a violent, abusive household with no love and affection. Everything that would make a bad upbringing. How could I have become anything different than I am? So same life story or same upbringing, completely different result. Why? Because they drew different conclusions. The result they thought of it, they took out of it, was completely different. I want to share with you a part of my life story. When I grew up, we had more than once the bailiff in our house, the executierer. So we had more than once the reposition sticker on our TV set, the Kuckuck. We had more than once the license plates taken off our car because we could not afford the insurance. Didn't really think that this is hard. So there were plenty of other negative experiences, but I take this as an example. I decided to use that as a fuel. I decided that everyone related to me will never have to go through any experience alike. So the conclusions I drew out of it were not negative. I just never again. So I consciously made the decision to choose a different path than my generational curse, if you want to call it that way. It is the choices that we make that decide the outcome, not the circumstances. In German we have the acronym GEHE. Gedanken führen zu Emotionen, Emotionen führen zu Handlungen und Handlungen führen zu Ergebnissen. The English equivalent is the acronym TEAR. Thoughts lead to emotions, emotions lead to actions, and actions lead to results. What does that mean? Just to make it a bit more. This chair, this pool table, this TV, even the relationships we have with each other, we're always a thought at the beginning. It is always in our head. It is always, the first thing is the idea. Someone had to think, okay, I want to make a bar stool like that. It must be retractable. This screen should be flat like a picture. That was the idea. This idea, this thought has led to an action. Sorry, this thought has led to an emotion. And when you think about our relationships, you even see it more clearly that the next step is an emotion. You have seen your significant other and you had a thought, and that thought created an emotion. You said, okay, I'll approach him or her. I swipe left or right. However, it came out of the idea, the emotions, and then you act upon it. So if the first thing that creates our actions are our thoughts, it is relevant how they look like. If we think about things, positive or negative, if we take the different conclusions out of the same results, out of the same actions, creates our action, and that creates a result. It's not the circumstances, it's what we make out of it. Never the circumstances itself. Yeah? So if we see the world positive or negative, depends on us. If we see everything as a burden or as a chance to grow, is decided here. And it means we have to stand guard on our thoughts. And it means that when you see a negative thought creeping up, you probably reflect and ask yourself, is it really a saber-toothed tiger that I see, or is it just a kitten? The English word fear has two meanings. fear anything and run, or fear everything and rise. Face everything and rise. The chance is on us. I would like to show you a video of my mentor, Andy Elliott, and then I would like to read one more quote and then I shut up. From a book that I think everyone should read. It's very thin. It's Wie der Mensch denkt, so lebt er, or in English, As a Man Thinketh. It's life-changing, and it's simple read. It opens probably the mind to some thoughts, but let's see what Andy has to say about it.
Hey guys, what's going on? It's Andy. So I want to talk to you about in this video, like, what do you learn whenever things are a grind, when they get hard? Now I want you to think about something for a second, okay? And I want you to remember this, and if you're really training with me and you're not just listening to information, I want you to write this down. If you do in life what's hard, your life will be easy. If you do in life what's easy, your life will be hard. It's a lesson that I learned that playing low-key, doing easy things, staying comfortable was a dream killer for me, okay? And what I learned is that whenever I started watching David Goggins, which you might have heard of him before, but he started talking about doing in life what's uncomfortable, and that most people only reach about 30% of their real potential. And the reason, and I'm thinking 30%, that means we got 70% left. Like, really, like, are we maxing out where we need to be? And the reason why they quit at 30% is because it gets hard. And when it gets hard, what happens is we back down. Now, our brain is made to keep us safe. It's made to make sure that we don't get hurt. So what happens is you have to learn to retrain your brain and take control of your brain and say, hey, dude, get in the back seat, man. You're not in control anymore. You're not in charge. I am. So when things are hard, they're good for me. I like it. But that wasn't always the way I was. And what I learned as I look back over my years, that my lowest year to date, my lowest, income earning years, the lowest times that I grew, the times that I looked in the mirror and didn't really like who I saw, right? Those times that, I kind of regret, but I'm glad that I went through them, so I know I don't want to go through them again. Those times were the times where I chose the easy road. I was doing what a lot of other people were doing. Most people are going to have the same life next year that they had this year. Don't be most people. So how could you be different? Well, number one, our goal is to get you through that threshold, okay? Where you can actually get to max out your true potential, become great, become a legend. But how are you going to do it? Number one, you're going to have to do it by doing the hard stuff. Only the hard stuff pays. I'd write that down. Only the hard stuff pays. So I put when it's hard. Ask yourself this question. This is an important one, okay? Because this is going to allow you. There's a saying that I say that those that are capable for the highest threshold of pain, like if you can take on a lot of pain up here, this is where the success is at, okay? It's the people that can handle that high threshold of pain up here. A lot of people that haven't been through a lot, they never make it to the high success because they don't know how to do the hard stuff. And when it gets hard, they back out because they feel like that something's wrong. How about when something's hard, maybe for the first time in your life, you're actually doing something that's right. Maybe for the first time in your life, you're actually on track, not off track, okay? So I want you to think about it. What did I learn? Well, I'm going to tell you what you're more than likely going to learn. Is that number one, don't quit. When it gets hard and you're at that 30% and you even make it to 40%, you're realizing that your best life is over here. You got to keep pushing that way. Keep going. Keep getting it more uncomfortable. And listen to me. Don't complain about the hard stuff. Don't complain about it. Don't be that guy, okay, that says, oh, man, I want to do the hard stuff. Oh, man, it's so hard. Don't do that, okay? I want you to understand this. Embrace the suck. Embrace it. Become mentally strong with it. Become someone that people look up to for mental toughness and strength. And I want to tell you something. Your mentality Your mentality gets built when you're chasing the hard stuff. So, what did you learn? I guarantee these are the things that you'll learn. Number one, you'll learn don't quit. You'll learn you're on the edge of a breakthrough, man. You're growing like never before. Your mental toughness is there, and you're about to have a breakthrough. Don't quit. And for the first time in your freaking life, you're actually probably maxing out your true potential, right? Which is all we've been trying to do the entire time. It's worth it. So as you're going through, I have a bracelet that says it's worth it. As I'm grinding, as I'm pushing, as I'm going to the next level, as I want to quit, right? Don't quit. But when you want to, I don't care what you want, Andy. What I care about, is this worth it? The answer is always going to be absolutely. Every single thing that I have great in my life right now was worth it. I have 3 children. Hardest thing ever, raising kids. Totally worth it. My wife gave birth to 3 beautiful kids. Dude, worth it. Okay? Marriage, best thing in the world. Couldn't live without my wife. Worth it. Totally worth it. My company, hardest thing I've ever done in my life is build a massive sales team. Hardest thing, bar none. People are so hard to change. Worth it. All those things that were massively hard, as I sit back and I look at my life, from my business, my faith, staying close to God, worth it. Okay? Physical fitness, health, waking up in the gym in the morning, not hitting the snooze button, getting up even when I didn't want to, worth it. All these things that drove me crazy and in the moment I didn't want to do, all freaking worth it. So I want you to do this. Number 1, when it's hard, don't quit. Number 2, when it's hard, you're breaking through the threshold of pain, which means you're actually reaching success and you're going to max potential. So finishing on a note of what we're learning about hard stuff is that it sucks. Embrace the suck. It is totally worth it. And everything you want in your life is on the other side of being uncomfortable. Enjoy the pain, push through it. You're going to go to greatness.
So every time our brain says, nah, probably we won't do it, ask yourself, why? It's probably the barrier of your comfort zone. Der Geist ist die Meisterkraft, die formt und macht. Und der Mensch ist der Geist. Und er nimmt immer wieder das Werkzeug des Denkens und bringt, indem er formt, was er will, 1000 Freuden, 1000 Übel hervor. Er denkt im Verborgenen und es kommt zum Bestehen. Die Umwelt ist nur sein Spiegel. Danke. Now, thank you.